I told Cameron to turn off his video game. I turned off the Wi-Fi on my phone. I was like, I'm over here lagging.
It's bedtime. Everybody go to bed.
that thing, it was laggy. When I did it, because I had to pull those clips from YouTube, and the one I pulled it from was like IMDb's thing or whatever, and so it wouldn't really let me put it up on FaceSwap because it said there was like some issues with it. And I was like, well, no, I don't have time to keep doing this because I've been busy this week. So, yeah. It's a lot of work I put into that. And then, of course, I muted myself even when I was about to say what I was going to say. So
I wanted to ask how much time that took you to do.
It took me a good 45 minutes today. Yeah. Okay. Because I had to go in and I had to do the face swapping thing on my phone and then send it back to myself and then go in and cut up the scenes from the movie, go in the thing, get the Felix part in there right as he says Fredo and be like Felix and then, get all that stuff in there. So, yeah, it took a little bit of time.
I don't know how you do that, but that's the second surprise. Like when you did the intro for this show, I was like, oh, snap. Like audio intros are nice, but a video intro is the bomb.
No, the video, I still need to go back and redo that one. It's because I put too much stuff on it.
Phil Pennington, if you're still watching this, I am scared of no man in Nerd C2C.
I think he's off. There's only a couple people watching. Well, no, he was on YouTube. There's a couple people watching on YouTube, so. So you played.
Go ahead.
Oh, so you're playing him? Sorry.
I know. I don't think I can be because we were the 1-2.
Gotcha.
So I don't think I must. I mean, I'll probably not to. I'm gonna totally jinx myself here, but we were the top 2 points scored by a pretty decent amount. So
yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I think he only outscored me by 100 points, but Alfred was the highest scoring team in the program. So, but I'm projected to beat him by 16 points right now, which means I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I already know it. So.
I lost my only league. I was the 1 seed in a league.
Who do you guys have? Who are the main players on your teams?
I can pull it up. Because I don't know his mine. Well, I've been carried by Justin Herbert. I honestly did not expect to win this year. I drafted for this coming class coming in is a lot of the guys that I pulled, like Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask. I've got Tylan Wallace. I got all these guys coming this year. I wasn't expecting my team to be that good this year. So I've got Herbert, and I'll just go with what I have my starting lineup really quick here. Ooh. So my starting lineup is Herbert, Rodgers. I got Nick Chubb. Go ahead. It's Scott Fishbowl scoring. Ooh. So you have to have a good quarterback. Yeah. I got Chubb, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. Right now I have T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman, Cole Beasley, Adam Thielen, Tyler Eifert in my starting lineup. And I'll probably put in who is it? Probably either Keelan Cole or possibly even Colin Johnson because I don't want to start Gabriel. Well, I'll keep Gabriel Davis in if John Brown's not back this week. If John Brown comes back, I'm not putting Davis in my lineup.
You've got a good mix of age and youth on that team, and your running backs are strong too. Is it a 12-teamer?
Yeah, it's 12-team. Yeah.
Okay.
40-man roster on the NFL
it's going to be
side?
Interesting in C2C.
35, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I drafted for. I'm more excited about my team that's coming through the college ranks than I am for the team I have now. I was kind of surprised my team has done. I think it's because of Aaron Rodgers and Adams too. My other quarterback was who was it? It was complete trash. So I was not expecting. I was waiting for the other guys to come up. It was Mitch Trubisky, which actually he's been really good. So far this part, I was starting Mitch and Rodgers, and then I got lucky that as soon as they benched Mitch, Herbert came in. So it's okay, well, I'll throw Herbert in, and then I honestly just squeaked into the playoffs. I finished 7-6, but I beat the second highest scoring team last week, and now I'm going against Alfred for a chance at the Super Bowl next week.
Well, now I want to know who's going to win that damn game. We should probably take bets or something on that game.
I honestly think it's going to be him. It says I'm going to win by 16 points, but I mean, he's got here. I'll show you. I'll tell you his team. He's got a good team. Well, the only thing I think I have going against me is I don't think Cook has a good game this week because he struggles against the Bears. But right now he's got in Carr. Well, Newton sucks, but Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett, Juju, Marvin Jones, Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas, and then Travis Kelce's the killer because it's tight end premium. So Kelsey's been getting him fucking 50 points a week. It's been ridiculous.
Who's your second quarterback starting?
Cam Newton. That's it. But I don't know who. Let me see who has.
Might get negative points with Cam Newton starting.
Well, that's because he's got That's because he's got Breeze, but Breeze is out, and he doesn't have Taysom Hill. So that's why he's had to start Newton. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to be interesting. One thing we should talk about in the season is like, how do you rebuild in a C2C? Like, what's the best way to rebuild? Like, do you just go for the college side, or do you trade for young NFL? Like, that's going to be interesting.
It's definitely something I want to talk about on the episode, because I actually think it's harder to rebuild in a C2C than I do think it is a dynasty, because you have the picks and everything, where some people value picks highly. Like, you've got nothing there. I would personally probably go C2C side, or the college side, because I feel like you can get some of those guys cheaper than you can those low end. Like right now, it would be almost impossible to trade for like a DeAndre Swift or Jonathan Taylor because of what they've done now and what you expect them to be, where maybe I could trade for a Breece Hall, Eric Gray. Who else is someone that's probably going? I mean, like you could probably get Jamar Jefferson pretty cheap. I think might be good. Javonte Williams earlier in the season, or Austin owns him. You could probably just give him a turkey sandwich and get Javonte Williams because Austin thinks he sucks. So
I don't have Javonte. I know.
I'm saying if you had Javonte Williams, since you think he sucks.
Well, you never gave me Eric Gray, so I'm still waiting on that.
I know. I was hoping you forget about that.
I check every morning. First thing I do when I get up.
I'll get to it. Busy man. I'm working on it. I'll get it sent. No, I will. I'll send it. I'll try to remember to do it tomorrow morning when I go back in and set my lineups. Oh shit.
Kenny Pickett coming back next year.
I think it's going to be harder just because, even if you do trade or get players on the college side, you got to be right with those players.
Yeah.
And that's just hard to do even for productive and college players who look good. I mean,
but in the NFL side, if you've got people who are like, I don't remember the trade that happened earlier this year, but the one that Kane did, and it didn't even work out for him. He traded for an NFL guy now because he wanted to win this year, and he gave up like good college side talent to get him. I don't remember who it was. Do you remember who it was, Austin?
I mean, I did a trade with him. I did 2 trades with him.
Actually. Yeah, I know. You stole the one from me, asshole. I don't remember who I was going to get. I was supposed to get Bateman. Yeah. I was supposed to get Bateman. And I did not get Bateman. You did.
Still have him.
Still available. But you want Breece Hall, and I want to keep Breece Hall. I like Breece Hall more than I like Bateman. So
maybe we can talk quarterback.
You want Kyle Trask? Mac Jones? I still can't believe I didn't pick up Zach Wilson, man. I'm so pissed about that. He was on our waiver wire.
He was on the waivers?
Yeah. And I did. Well, it's funny because I went back in when we were talking about Zach Wilson. I went in and because you can search on Twitter when you've talked about players. And literally a week before we did our waiver run in the program, I was posting on Twitter, like, if he's on your waivers, go grab him. And I didn't even think to look to see if he was on our waivers. I just assumed he got drafted by someone. And then Brandon picked him up for like $20. And I was like, fuck. And I had no idea. I think I went in.
He looked good this past weekend, too.
Yeah, I grabbed, I spent like $10 and grabbed Grant Wells. So I like him, but that's fucking 2023. I'm waiting a long time to get that kid. So it is what it is.
Do you guys see the Justin Ross sorted news?
No.
He went to his surgeon and they said that he's probably ticked the first box in terms of coming back to play again. That's awesome. So, yeah, 1 for 2 so far. So,
and it's a neck injury, right? Justin Ross, neck injury?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with these Clemson receipt. Well, I mean, it's just one other one with Mike Williams and his neck injury. I thought that I thought Justin Ross was done. I'm glad that he's going to be coming back.
Oh, so I wanted to say this,
with DJ too.
Yeah. I wanted to say this, but it's a parting shot, so we're not supposed to repeat. I wonder if the reason the schools are the way they are like that is because of it's only a 14 playoff, and all these kids want to go to a school that they likely have a chance to get into the playoffs and play the top level competition. I think if they expand the playoffs to 8 teams, you might see the talent spread out more. But right now, you just mentioned a bunch of teams who are in the playoffs pretty much every single year, and so I think that's why the talent keeps going there.
That's a really good point that I hadn't really thought about, but yeah, that makes sense.
I on that point, I think it'll be interesting to see, if we do have a lot of transferees, and does that benefit a school like Coastal Carolina or BYU or?
Maybe in a year like this. Well, see, if we knew Zach Wilson, like if Zach Wilson was a sophomore and we knew he was coming back next year, I think wide receivers would want to transfer there just to play with him because of the way he's been.
Yeah, or he'd leave BYU. I mean,
yeah, that's true too.
Might be easier to get one quarterback in place than like 3 receivers, but. Yeah, that
my sound was lagging this entire show, and I mean it's doing it now. Like I heard Austin's sound come in, I guess it's me. I got to restart my router or something like that because it's just totally threw me off the entire show.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I mean you haven't been bad outside that.
Okay, and I'm like supposed to have fast internet. Okay.
Oh, I have.
Well, you guys talk like you would say something. And then I wouldn't hear it. And then as I was talking, it would be in my ears because you had said it and it just hadn't gotten to me yet. So, but
I wonder if I can post that video on Twitter. I'll tag Alfred in it.
Good old Alfred.
Bruni, you look mad about the Rashad Bateman take.
No, not at all. I was joking. I actually said that last night on Ray's pod that I am more hesitant than I have been lately because the more and more I've looked at him lately, I'm worried that because he's not, I agree with you, he's not the field stretcher and he's not a possession receiver either. So what is he going to be into the NFL? That's what worries me. But I still think I've just seen too much out of him. And Tyler Johnson, you talk about how, he's actually been good for the Buccaneers in the NFL. And in my opinion, Rashad Bateman is a clear step above Tyler Johnson. So if Tyler Johnson can do that, I still think Bateman's got a future in the NFL. And I've said from the beginning, I think Bateman is a better wide receiver 2 in fantasy than a wide receiver 1. I don't think we love this class, but I don't necessarily see a bunch of guys who are going to be wide receiver 1s in this class. And I honestly think after doing the mock with Ray last night, this class is not nearly as deep as we think it is if you're not in a super flex league either. Like when we got to like pick 2, 3, I was like, fuck, dude, who do I like? I took Jamar Jefferson at like 2-7 because I was like, I don't really like anybody else. So I'm just going to go take my guy. I mean, we had 2 quarterbacks had gone and 2 tight ends at that point. And like I took Terrace Marshall in the second round. That was the only pick that I really loved in the second round. I don't think this class is as deep as we think it is with these top tier talent guys. Like I don't even know if Jamar Chase is going to be a wide receiver 1 in the NFL level. I have questions about him too.
Real quick on the comments about Tyler Johnson versus Rashad Bateman. So I agree with you that like there are things that Rashad Bateman does better. But to me, Tyler Johnson's skill set to me was more translatable because he is like he can get separation in the short area and be kind of, he could be a big slot. He could be like Deontay Johnson and somebody who can separate despite not having elite physical attribute or elite, speed and agility. He can still say that's what he was at Minnesota. And I just don't, they're like, to me, Bateman and him are different players in that respect. And I don't, I just don't see that Bateman has the elite separation ability where Johnson did and still went in the 5th round. So,
well, but he had that weird offseason and everything last year where he was supposed to go to the Senior Bowl and didn't go, got invited, I think, to the East-West Shrine. No, he didn't get invited to the Senior Bowl. Got invited to the East-West Shrine game and then said he was going to go and then declined like 2 days before all the practices and everything. And there was a lot of talk that none of that stuff, like he just, I guess, rubbed teams the wrong way. So I don't know. Oops.
No.
I like that Daniel Jackson kid they have as a freshman there. I don't know if you guys have seen him at all.
No, I haven't. I know Kane really likes him.
Yeah, I think he's a good player.
Daniel Jackson where?
At Minnesota. He's a true freshman this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 4-star kid. He's good. He's a good athlete. Another one of those guys that the coaches hyped up all offseason, which that's like the first thing I like to see. Like if the coaches go out of their way to talk about a guy in the offseason, I'll go buy them in a heartbeat. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Bateman's going to be just fine, but that's just my opinion. I think he's a good enough route runner. He'll be able to create enough separation to do damage at the next level.
Where do you guys have Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I think I have him 6 or 7. I don't have him. I think he's right there in the top of tier 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, not tier 2. I think that he's a second round draft pick. I don't have rankings yet, but he's the type of player that I like.
Yeah.
So
no one talks. It's really interesting. Like no one talks about him at all. I think
a lot of people talk about USC at all. Like people don't talk about the West Coast at all. So I mean, it's a lot for people to talk about those players.
I think it just comes down to because everybody wants to talk about the top guys, and they don't see like all everybody wants to talk about is Rondale Moore, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, and Devonta Smith. And nobody wants to talk about anything. It's like I like Tylan Wallace too. I think he could be a good NFL player. I think he's in that tier 2 group as well. Wide receiver 2, maybe wide receiver 3 for fantasy. Nobody talks about him either. I think he's had an amazing season so far.
Tylan Wallace is the one guy like that everyone really likes this year that I just can't get on board with at all.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I watch him and I just don't see like a good NFL receiver. Like I think he'll be like a team's like third option at best, but I don't know. I could see it being wrong. I don't know. I have never really been blown away with him. I think the things he does really well, like he will struggle with in the NFL because he's not very big.
So I'm in this C2C startup right now, and I realize that I have a bias at the wide receiver position because all of my receivers fit a certain profile. As a matter of fact, I think I have so I've got Justin Jefferson, which is, I mean, everybody likes Justin Jefferson, but I picked up Terrence Marshall. I have Tamarion Terry, Seth Williams, who doesn't fit the same profile, Jalen Waddle, Marcus Stevenson. Like all of these players are, it's speed. Like I have like no possession receivers on this team. Where is that damn chart? So, Jefferson, Waddle, Terrence Marshall, Seth Williams, Jermaine Burton. I picked up Jermaine Burton, Tamarion Terry. I don't know. It's the players who can score a touchdown in one play and win me my fantasy week in one play that I gravitate towards those players. And I kind of followed your advice a little bit in this C2C where I wanted stability for the long term. So I took a lot of what I believe to be high end wide receivers. So
yeah, I think that gives you it gives some wiggle room in the future. Personally, I think, but
yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about my C2C startup stuff recently and just how to do it. Because it's really interesting. I find myself like when I do a snake startup, I find myself going younger, and when I do an auction, I find myself going older on my roster. I just find that interesting. So
when you do an auction, you find yourself going older
because I think those older players are devalued. That's why.
Yeah, they're more projectable. And so if I'm doing an auction C2C startup, I always go win now because I think you can studs and duds really easily. Yeah. And you can basically leave like 2 holes on the NFL side and then fill them with the college side for like the next year. So I think that's like the way to do it in an auction. But yeah, in like a snake, I go a lot younger and I hammer receiver pretty early. But different strokes.
I could not find where the value is at running back in this C2C because they all went earlier than I thought they would. And whenever it was my turn to pick, like I wasn't going to reach for the next player. So, I mean, I feel like I, in essence, went 0 RB in a C2C league, and we'll see how it turns out. But I want to see who my running backs are. So on the NFL side, my running.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Did you say Vernon?
No, you're good.
On the NFL side, my running backs are David Montgomery, Ronald Jones, Chris Carson. Let's see. And then on the college side, I picked up Richardson, Javian Hawkins, Blake Corum, Ulysses Bentley. I picked up Rashad White too. Bam Knight. I mean, I'm just like, I've had to take some shots there, and I don't know that I've done a great job with the running back position, but
Yeah, that's even a little more
wide
zero
receiver.
RB than I go on that side of things. And I go zero RB pretty hard on those. And
I feel like I go opposite of you guys. I tend to go RBs. I tend to get a couple RBs that I really like first, just because it seems like college side and NFL side, it's always more loaded at wide receiver. And I feel like the amount of time you get to use your RBs is less than the wide receivers. Like I have Nick Chubb now, who I think he'll be good. Like Aaron Jones, who I drafted. Like I don't even know where Aaron Jones will be next year. He may not even be in Green Bay. May end up in a timeshare with less value. So I try to get RBs that I think will be good for like 3-4 years and worry about grabbing a bunch of wide receivers later.
Well, what you just said, though, about you don't know where Aaron Jones is going to be next year is why I don't necessarily hit them early. Because
Aaron Jones was one because in the program he fell. I think it's like the 5th round, and at that point I just had Nick Chubb at running back, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take Aaron Jones because he's a good running back." But like in the program, I went Justin Fields because I had the 2nd pick. I'm not taking anybody else there. But then on the turnaround, there was who was it that was available? There was a really good wide receiver available that somebody else they grabbed him right after Shane took him after I did. But I took Breece Hall because, in my opinion, he was the best running back available. It's like, I know I'm going to have to wait 2 years for him, but I want a guy who's going to be, in my opinion, a stud running back at the next level because there's still a shit ton of wide receivers available. I'll just grab other guys later. And I still think I have a good group of wide receivers. I don't have that top guy. I can probably go back and pull it up of who he took, but he took the wide receiver. And I was like, okay, that's fine that he doesn't fall to me. I'll grab somebody else in a later round.
I don't know. I'm like a very conservative fantasy player. So I just take the guy, like I know where the value is going to be and I know where it's probably going to be 5 years from now. And then I'll make the move when I have to. That's always my big mantra. Like I never really have like a stud wide receiver on my team. I'd rather have like Tyler Boyd, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods. Like I'd rather have that be my receiving core than like, go after a Michael Thomas. And then I'll hit like those. I'll go get a running back when I need one and not worry about it before then. But that's just me. I don't know.
Oops. That's your team.
This year's not going very well in any of my leagues, so maybe I need to rethink that. But good times.
I hear you. I just went back over my team, and I really don't have very many good wide receivers at all, actually.
I will say the program draft, neither side of that draft went well for me at all.
I don't think it went well for any of us. That it did not go at all the way I expected it to. It was, but I think that speaks to because of the competition we have in there, though, too. Like it's not one of those like nothing against the nerds one, but some of those guys like hadn't really been in C2C. They're still learning about the Devy side. Like the program one is like a lot of some of the best minds in there. And so it was hard to, you weren't like, I was reaching for guys at some point because like everybody knows who this guy is. He's not a sleeper. So if I want him, I have to take him now. Like that's why I traded. Well, I wasn't sure. I assumed nobody was going to take Raymond Davis and G. Scott, but I traded up just to make sure I could get those two guys in round 9 and 10 because I didn't want to take a chance of not getting them. And those are the guys that I like. They're my guys. So I was like, I got to trade up and get them because someone may take them.
I went to take Scott that round to try to extort you. I didn't realize you had already taken him that round.
Yeah, I traded up as soon as because I knew Shane is obviously a massive fan of his as well. Like Shane thinks he's going to be the best wide receiver in that class from Ohio State as well. And so I was like, fuck, because me and Shane were back to back. And I was like, man, this is where he's been going lately. I was like, I can't take the chance that Shane's going to take him. So I jumped up. And of course, that ended up biting me in the ass because I also wanted Jamar Jefferson. And then he took Jamar Jefferson the next round before it could get back to me. And I don't think he'll trade him to me now.
I was watching Adam Thielen this weekend, and I was like, that is what I think G. Scott can be because Adam Thielen is, like a route runner at that size and doesn't necessarily have like elite speed, but he has all the craftiness. And I'm like, that's G, because G. Scott is what, 6'3", 205, something like that.
Yeah,
I think
he
so.
can run. He can run the routes the way he does, even at that height. Yeah. So
when are we going to do our 210?
I got him too in this league in the startup.
When are we going to do our C2C? I assume it's going to be you and me commissioning it, Austin. I assume
that's fine with me.
So not one of us is having to do. We can split it between the two of us.
Now that I finally figured out how to work my fantasy league, I feel like I'm golden.
I know MFL real good. I hate Fantrax. I have 32 leagues on MFL, so I'm good. I know how to use that like the back of my hand. I love MFL.
I just never commissioned on it before, and they have some like weird boxes you have to check and shit to
make
stuff populate, and
it's a lot if you don't know how to use it the first time. It took me forever to get mine on there, but now I love MFL. Fantrax is just a pain in the ass. I can't. But there's no other place to use, I would think, for college fantasy football.
Do you just not like? You don't like the usability of it, or?
I mean, I don't mind using it on my laptop, but I can't. The mobile page frustrates the hell out of me. The app frustrates the hell out of me. Like, again, maybe it's just because I'm not. This is my first year really using it. Like, I use Fantrax for one of my dynasty baseball leagues, but I'm not a commish of it. I just go in there, make my moves, set my lineups. I'm good to go. And this year, with all the program shit, like trying to go in there and do all that stuff. And maybe it's the players not populating in there either because of the weird year. Me having to continually go in there and replace placement holder shit. And it's such a pain in the ass to try and go in there and do that. It's frustrating. Because like now I can't even go in the way that you told me how to do it, Austin. It's not letting me do it. So now I have to go in and replace them in the system or the free agent pool. And it's so fucking annoying. But it is what it is.
It took me forever to figure out how to actually offer somebody a trade.
I still haven't figured that part out.
Yeah.
Anytime I've had a trade go down there, I'm like, hey, well, send it to me. I'm busy, and I'll accept it later.
Right.
And then I'll just go in and do it. Because I'm like, I don't figure this shit out.
Sitting on his couch, he's like, yeah, send it to me. I'm busy.
I do that all the time. Like, I remember one in the Nerds League with me and Eric when I got G. Scott. He was like, hey, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do the deal. I was like, all right, send it. It's like, oh, man, I'm really in the middle of something. Can you send it? I was literally just watching TV. And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll send it in 10 minutes. Yeah, no worries. I'll be around my phone. They can't get this shit to work.
Brian Shikakis was very helpful in getting all that set up.
I'm sure
he's just the nicest person.
Yeah,
he's on what is it? He does the DHH stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. He does. He hasn't done it lately. You were just on that show. It was he hasn't done it lately because he's busy with his NTI or remote. They call it NTI here. But he's a teacher and he hasn't been on it lately.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they had said that he wasn't on there, which is why they asked me to come on.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good show, though. I like those guys.
Yeah, I like Skip. I mean, I don't know Matt Jackson that, I don't know him that well, but Skip, I really like Skip. I think Skip's a good dude.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Oh, I was going to say it before the show. We jumped up to 220 downloads on the last episode, by the way.
Shit.
Wow.
Look at us go.
Dang. We went from 100 to 200 that fast?
Yeah, I know. Well, we jumped from, we didn't start out, like the first episode was the lowest one, but you can't count that either because some of that was the first two I had to put on the other one because we hadn't come up with the name or anything yet. So the downloads, I don't think really match that. I think that's why you saw that big bump that you were talking about, Austin, because that's when we actually first started putting it on there live. And then, so it went from like the 40 something to like up to 90, and then it went to 130. And then it was like the week before it was at 180. So we jumped up about 40 more downloads.
Awesome.
And some of them came in the other day too. It wasn't like something that's popped up. Like it all happened once. So we added on like 10 downloads yesterday or today, technically, I guess.
One thing that I've learned from, now that we've done 9 episodes, is for me to feel comfortable through the entire length of the show, I really need to start studying it like 2 o'clock, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I need to be looking at it, looking at the show sheet at that time. I definitely can't. Like I started today at 7, and then was lagging, and I was like, this is frustrating me.
Oh, I understand. It happened to me a couple episodes ago. I was messaging, I think, Austin in the box because you two were lagging for me, and I was like, I was so confused. Like, there was one point where I couldn't hear anything, and both of you were frozen. And I was like, shit. Like, is that me or is that like I don't know what's going on? Yeah. I don't want to just sit here. And then you were like, no, we're good. It's like, okay, well, fuck, I can't. I have no idea what's going on. So,
okay. Yeah, I'm going to restart my router, and I'm gonna test my speed. If my speed is not what it's supposed to be, they're gonna have to bring out somebody from Spectrum out here immediately. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, my computer was lagging today while I was working, so I do need to check that out.
So what do you guys want to do with our C2? Oh shit, our C2C league.
Yeah, how are we going to get people in? Like how are we going to do that?
I don't know. That's the one thing. Well, I guess the biggest thing is how are we? I would assume we're doing a buy-in, and then how much? Because that's going to be the biggest thing. Because I don't want to deal with the crap I dealt with in the program this year, if I'm being honest. So, people, like not paying, and I hate being that guy that's like continually reaching out to people, like, "Hey, man, can you please pay?"
Industry stuff is a little different, I think, because everyone. It's like what, semi-pro or whatever, with like everybody love everybody. Like you kind of have to be nice to everybody about that kind of stuff. But I feel like if we do like a listener league, you can just be like, hey, like if you're not paid by
this time,
May 1st or whatever, like we're replacing you, and there's no negotiation or whatever. So
that's the thing. Like, I think we need to make sure that they pay it. And that's probably partially my fault. With the weirdness of the year, I did tell everybody, it's like, okay, I'll give everybody time to pay because I didn't know. I'm not trying to ask anybody what their financial situation is. I know people, like personally, I know people who are struggling right now because of job issues with COVID and everything. So it's like, okay, these guys want to be in. I don't want to say, like, even Matt Jackson, like he wanted to be in the league, but at the time he's like, man, I don't have $50 to spare. So no. And I didn't think like, nah, don't worry about it. Just pay later, man. Like, don't worry about it. I was like, okay, no big deal. We'll reach out to somebody else. And then obviously we had Nick leave who didn't even pay. And then I'm like trying to get somebody in who would pay, which I felt bad about because I'm like, this dude's coming in, which I mean, he made the playoffs and it looks like he's probably going to get his money back. So good for him. But I was like, he's coming in at like week 10 of the season. And I'm like, hey, by the way, bro, I need you to pay $50 because the other guy didn't pay and then just bailed in week 9. And so, yeah, I don't want to deal with that mess.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But I'll be interested to see if we can fill up or how quickly, I guess.
I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we should do some sort of contest or something to get people in. Maybe all three of us own a team together. So we can get 11 other people, or if a 14 teamer, get 13 other people.
Can always do 2014 2 copy.
Yeah, well, I don't want to do like the program, but we could do that. Yeah.
Well, you can do them all in one thing.
No, yeah. I mean, like, well, yeah, okay, I got you.
Like instead of having to manage 2 separate, MFL pages, 2 separate. Like I think you can do it all on one.
I think so.
I don't know. I don't know how multiple copies works on Fantrax, but I know you can do it on
MFL.
MFL for sure. Yeah. So. Yeah, something I can sit down and look at some bylaw stuff here over the next couple of days. One question: are we recording next week?
Oh yeah, I need to ask you guys that.
Christmas,
yeah. It doesn't matter to me. I've got nothing going on, so that's up to you guys.
I mean, I still want to.
I can. I will be at my in-laws.
Okay.
But I don't think they mind if I disappear for an hour.
I think that people like when I'm on vacation, that's when I'm like, the kids are playing. I've got my headphones in and I'm listening to podcasts. Yeah. So, I think that's why I've always liked. When I used to listen to him on ESPN, Colin Cowherd, he would not take like the holidays off. Like he would take his vacation like in the middle of baseball season or something like that. But like when Thanksgiving and Christmas was coming up, he would work, right up until Christmas Eve, or even, just take Christmas off, but still be on the air. And if you're a fan of the show and that's the time that you actually have to listen, it works.
That's a good point. Yeah, I can definitely do it. My in-laws are they're awesome. I like them a lot.
Do you have to leave?
They're a little high maintenance. Yeah, we'll be at their place.
I mean, is it in Pittsburgh, or are you?
No, so they're they're like 4 hours from us, near the Harrisburg area. It's nice though because my wife and I met in college, but her parents live like 40 minutes from my parents, so we can like hit them both without having to travel. Like, because we're supposed to leave tomorrow and go to some of my wife's family, but it snowed a ton here today in PA. I don't know if you guys saw like the weather we have up here, but we got like
Ohio's. I didn't see what it was like in Pennsylvania.
We got like, I think we were supposed to get like 6 or 7 inches, but like central PA where my parents and her parents are supposed to get like 10 to 14 plus. So it's thrown a little bit of a wrench in the travel.
And I'm over here upset because it's been like 30 degrees in Texas.
I miss the snow. I miss my snow. I was looking at that storm, and part of it was going over Kentucky, but not like the snow part. We got snow like 2 weeks ago. Man, I'm serious. I miss like a real Michigan winter. We don't even get snow here. So
it's definitely nice now that I don't have to go into work every day. Like, I don't care if it snows, which is nice. My wife got stuck on the way home today because it was snowing and she got stuck on a hill behind someone that was driving way too slow. So joys of snow travel. But,
yeah. So so you're going to be there all week?
I remember.
Yeah, I'll be there Monday through Thursday, and then we leave like Friday morning for my parents.
Okay.
So
yeah, I just didn't know if there'd be any, like if it would be easier if we recorded on like the Tuesday or whatever, like we did Thanksgiving. So
yeah, no, I mean I'll be available all week though. So if you guys want to do Tuesday, that's fine.
It doesn't matter to me. Yeah. I've got my usual shit, so that's whatever.
But, yeah, what is Christmas next Thursday and Friday?
Friday.
It's Friday.
Christmas Eve. When is Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas is on Friday.
Because I'm not leaving. Like I'm not taking any time off, so I wasn't looking at the schedule. So yeah, it doesn't matter to me if Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. What matters to me is if I'm going to make sure that my internet works by the next time we record.
Oh, man. It's been a long week.
Yep. We didn't get to talk. We never get to talk any Pitt football. It just really sucks, We got a comment. And they're going to contend next year.
Yeah, man. We can answer any questions you got. What do you got? Go ahead, Austin. Hey, I'm excited that Kenny Pickett came back, man. One more year with him and Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I don't think Pickett's an NFL guy. Like I know Jared likes him a lot and some of these guys, but he's really good college quarterback, and we don't have anybody else. So
is Jordan Addison an NFL guy?
I think so. Yeah.
I
mean, he's the leading freshman receiver, isn't he? And I think he has the traits. I mean, and which surprises me because Pitt's offense is pretty limiting. It surprises me that anybody can put up those stats as a freshman, but. I would say he's probably our best receiver.
Speaking of another freshman.
What?
Do you any takes on Donovan Green from Wake Forest, the redshirt freshman? Did we talk about him or something?
We haven't, but he's like I talk about him on Twitter all the time. He's like one of my big guys. Yeah,
and he's
I love him.
But I like his size and his speed at that size. He's 6'2". And this is the thing. I was looking at his stat line. I'm like, okay, he's in the top 5 in receiving for freshmen, but most of that yardage came in that one game versus North Carolina, and I'm like, but still, I mean, he has the tools though. So.
Yeah, they just can't get him the ball. But I love him. I think he's really, really
okay. Good. All right, that makes me feel good. So. God, I think he might be my next pick in this startup.
That's tough, man.
MT, A-Rob, Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, or Brandon Ayuk.
Definitely A-Rob and Keenan Allen for sure for me. A-Rob with Vikings going up against the Vikings, and Keenan Allen's been phenomenal. And it comes down to Brown, Deontay, or Ayuk. I'm not playing Michael Thomas. Not against the Chiefs.
I think it's I
go Ayuk.
Deontay. Was Brown injured this past week?
Yes, he was injured. I think he'll play. He came back in the game, but he did get hurt. I think I go Ayuk with Debo being out, going up against the Cowboys.
Kittle might be back though, right? Is Kittle playing this weekend?
I don't think so.
They just designated him to return. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I go Ayuk. I like Deontay, but I'm worried if he drops another ball again, he's going to get benched for a quarter. So I don't. I know for sure I'm going A-Rob Keenan, and then
he could be the the boom bust player. Well, actually, both of them are boom bust players. So I
love Deontay. I traded for him earlier this year, but.
So I'm a huge Steelers fan. I'm trading Deontay away in every league I have.
Don't say that. I gave up a first to get him and Damian Harris this year, so I need him to be good.
I still love Deontay. I think he has a really high ceiling. I've loved him since the draft, since he was coming out of Toledo. We've talked about it before, but there was Logan Woodside and Kareem Hunt and John V.A. Johnson and Deontay Johnson and Michael Roberts. We forgot about Michael Roberts, who the tight end for that team, who the big roly-poly tight end who got drafted by the Lions. He was good too. They had a really good skill position players on that team. And Deontay is one of my favorite players. So I would be offering you something for him to get him off your hands.
I traded him. I just traded him for Matt Stafford in the league, and I was pretty happy with that.
Why don't you like Deontay?
I don't C2C league.
I don't dislike Deontay. I think he is his value is higher than what he's worth, in my opinion. Like, I think you can sell him as like you can sell him for a lot right now, and I don't think he'll ever live up to what people expect him to be. Personally.
All right, so my weekly ranking, Zero, just to give you an answer. I don't want to keep holding you on here. I've got actually Ayuk the highest, so I'd go Ayuk, A-Rob, and Keenan Allen this week. That's who I'd go. I have Ayuk at wide receiver 6 this week.
Damn.
It's just the projections. I rank based on my projections. God, my back is killing me.
Getting old.
I am. It's just I've been sitting in this chair a lot the past couple days, and it's a wooden chair. Yeah. It's not great for my posture, and it's killing my back.
You need a podcast chair.
I do. My wife keeps telling me that. I just don't want to buy one.
How old are you, Bruni?
Old enough. No, I'm 30. I'm about to be 34 next month.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 30. You're a little bit older than I am. I'm 30.
Fuck, so I'm the old man on the podcast? Fuck this shit.
I feel like Austin's like 26 or something like that.
28, yeah.
28, yeah.
25, so great. Love being the old guy on the podcast. I need to go back to my other ones.
It just feels weird that like some of these players like didn't see, or some of these people in the community didn't see like the start of Aaron Rodgers' career, or Ben's, or it's just.
Oh, I was talking to somebody about that the other day. Like, they thought I was insane because I said Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen play. And they're like, have you been watching Patrick Mahomes? I'm like, have you watched Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes. Like, yeah. Aaron Rodgers is legit.
I'm going to win the MVP, though. He's going to go to Mahomes.
I don't think so. I think people already have the Michael Jordan effect with Mahomes already because of what I would say the same thing about Lamar. I know Lamar's having a bad year this year, but I think because of what they did in the years they won their MVPs, they're not going to outproduce that. And so I think people are going to start leaning toward other people already with the MVPs. I think what's going to happen is it'll go to somebody else for a couple of years, and then Mahomes will come back again and have like that 50 or 48 touchdown passes and like 10 interceptions crap or whatever, and they'll give it back to him again. Kind of like Peyton Manning. Like, we haven't seen many of these guys win MVPs back to back to back to back to back. It's kind of spread out. So I don't know if it goes Rodgers. I honestly think Josh Allen is who's going to end up winning it after beating Pittsburgh last week. He struggled early for a little bit, but then it's kind of bounced back.
That would be crazy if Josh Allen won. Well, I mean, Josh Allen. People did not like Josh Allen. We're going to forget that. If Josh Allen keeps playing that, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, every always loves Josh
it's the revisionist history. Everybody loves Josh Allen coming out now, which is bullshit, but,
I mean, just this past offseason, people were like, the Bills could be a team that could draft a quarterback because Josh Allen. You can't win with Josh Allen.
I had him as my breakout quarterback this year.
Well, I mean, when he was throwing the ball into double coverage deep to a fullback, it was like,
Would he be the worst player to ever win MVP?
Not that bad though. He's had a good year. He's gotten
I'm not
better.
like obviously if you win MVP, you're a good player, but like I don't know.
But he's been a great player this year. That's my point. Like look, he's not Patrick Mahomes, but you know what? Patrick Mahomes really hasn't been that great this year either. Like he's been good. Now I don't think outside of Rodgers, and I think the reason we're all saying Rodgers has been so good is because he was so, I shouldn't say bad, but he wasn't what he was this year last year. See here. I'm trying to pull up who's won the MVP.
I've not heard anybody say Josh Allen for MVP, but when you say it,
well, I mean, it was him and Russell Wilson earlier in the year, but then he hit that stretch of like 3-4 games where he wasn't playing good. So you know, I'd argue Rich Gannon probably.
Yeah.
Oh, Rich Gannon won an MVP?
2002.
Yeah, with that Oakland team that went to the Super Bowl.
I'm looking through.
Yeah, he won that MVP with Jerry Rice and Tim Brown as his receivers, didn't he?
Yeah. Outside of that, I don't think I know Sean Alexander had that great year for Seattle when he won it, but I don't think Sean Alexander is like overall a great running back. So he's probably the only other one. I mean, everybody else on here is like Hall of Fame. Matt Ryan, but I mean, I think Matt Ryan probably makes the Hall of Fame. Outside of those three, yeah, you're looking at pretty much Hall of Famers.
What? Yeah.
What? You don't think
Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer?
I said might be. I'm not saying he is. I don't know. He might be. I don't know.
Well, he's no Graham Mertz. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the next Peyton Manning. That's for damn sure. So
I saw Graham Mertz
tomorrow because I gotta tag that part so I can cut it up when I get home.
Can you send me that video so I can watch it?
Yeah, I'm gonna post it on Twitter. Right, I'll post it on Twitter right now. Actually, okay. I was gonna do it and I was gonna tag Alfred in it.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I knew I couldn't see it clean. And I want to see it clean. Watch it all the way through. Hey, by the way, I know you were talking about when we first started this show, you were talking about getting an intro song from Gabe, and I like the intro that we have. I think that it's unique.
Yeah, I really like it. Gets me hyped every time. I don't know. Bruni can probably see me kind of like bobbing around to it as it goes.
I'm not looking. I'm looking at my phone because I am very bad about planning for stuff. Like I feel bad saying this because don't get me wrong. I like this. I like this more than jumping on Ray's show. But like I always seem to like under prepare for this show at times, and I'm like scrambling to do it last minute. Where like Ray's stuff yesterday, I was like so paranoid that I didn't want to sound like an idiot that I was like, I've like spent 3 days researching shit and pulling stuff up. It was bad. There we go. Just sitting complacent. Oops, there we go. All right. See if it'll actually live. I would assume so. I don't think that was 2 minutes long.
No, it definitely was shorter than that.
You posted it on Twitter. Hey, I'm gonna.
Broke my heart, Felix.
Yeah, I was just looking for it real quick.
I'm posting it right now. It's taking a minute. It should have just went up right there. Oh wait, maybe that was not right. Hang on. I might have just done the GIF
see it.
part.
No, it's here.
No, I think that's just a GIF, not the. Yeah, it's just a GIF. Damn it.
How did you get the face?
I pulled your Twitter picture. I pulled yours and Alfred's Twitter pictures. I just took a picture of it real quick, and I was like, face swap, let's go. Paid the $2 to get the premium thing so I can get the face swap, take that out of there really quick. And it's hard to tell on Alfred's because of it gets all grainy really quick. But yeah, I put him. It's just funny because I had no idea that like he would look so much like that actor too, because I haven't seen Godfather 2 in forever. And I was like, man, he looks just like the actor. I actually put the face on just because he's in the scene.
I didn't realize it was all face swaps at first because it looks so similar. And I was like, okay, like now I see like Felix, and so that.
Yeah.
Right, man.
I gotta find. What did I name the video? I guess I can look really quick. Where's it? Oh, I named it Felix. That makes it better. I got so much shit on my computer. It's
oh my god!
Keep all this stuff.
Oh my god.
Yep, there we go. Okay. probably will take a minute because it's got to load the video up on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as you posted that too, that you were rooting for him, I just for whatever reason immediately just popped in my head the scene of Corleone and Fredo just like, you broke my heart. I was like, that's it. I'm doing this shit. I just got to get all this shit together. And then I kept just delaying it. So I did it today.
That could be another segment, like movies that we're afraid to admit out loud that we've not seen. Like I've not seen any of the Godfather movies, but I know this. I know the scenes, like I know it, but I mean,
but that may also be just because I'm like obsessed. Which I don't know, like you guys. I don't know if you've ever. I'm obsessed with the mafia and just stuff like that. Like it's a very intriguing lifestyle to me. Just the money, the women, the killing. I don't know why. I'm obsessed. It's bad. It's bad. I'm obsessed with it. Any mafia movie I want to see, I've got books and books on my bookshelf about just like what those guys used to do and all this. I'm obsessed with it.
You use that as a conversation starter a lot?
I do.
I'm obsessed with the killing. I just love the killing.
Killing people. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I could never do it. I'm like, I feel bad if I like hit a squirrel in my car. I want to understand how these people do. Just walk up, stab a dude in the throat, and just like, go about my day. No big deal. All right, it's posted on Twitter now.
I see it.
Poor Al. He's gonna have no idea what the hell is going on. He's like, where did I just get tagged in?
That's one thing we got to do for the off season is line up like the guests that we want to have on, to debate with us.
Well, like I know Brandon wants to jump on. You got Dwight. I'm sure Alfred won't come back on. I'm sure it won't be hard to find people to jump on.
Yeah.
Yeah, people seem to like the show. I think we don't do like a lot of, like mock draft. Like this is our 2-round mock draft, stuff like we don't do a lot of like the typical segments ideas, which I think has been good so far.
Well, we don't, I mean, the whole format of the show is to disagree. I mean, it's like, it's just more entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I
want to have Chris on. Chris Moxley, I want to have him on.
Oh yeah.
Do you follow him, Bruning?
I don't. I need to. He's the one that did the Kevin Harris stuff, right?
He was the other day talking about Kevin Harris. Yeah.
You tagged me in whatever you tagged or put my thread.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I think I followed him when you tagged me in that.
Okay.
There is no one so far. He is very unique. I've only been following for like 2 weeks. That I will find myself like both like extremely agreeing with, and then like his next tweet, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
like, no.
That's what's great. That's what's great about it. That is what's great about it. And he's one of my favorite follows on Twitter. I call him a cold shower because he's always saying something about some player that I like. That is like I was tweeting about Jalen Darden. He was like, Jalen Darden is a 20-year-old breakout at a G5 school. I mean, I was like, that's true. He's always got good information. Always got good information. Will splash you with a dose of reality. So.
Yeah, I do follow him. Javante RB1. I like it already.
Javante has moved up to my RB3. I sat down this weekend and grinded running back, and he's 3 for me.
He'll move his way into RB2 for you soon. Just you watch.
So I was talking the other day on my other show. I do that. This is the time of year where I like really shift rankings because I have a whole season now, and I had some big ones this year. I had ETN number 1 coming into the year, and I have Najee above him now, amongst other things. But
I just love having your face on Fredo, man. I'm rewatching the video with the thing. It's just so good. It's so good. I love it. Really good. Oh man.
Oh, I haven't really gotten to see it yet. So I'm gonna put you guys on mute, and I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch.
All right.
Oh man, what'd you think of the Browns game this weekend?
I fucking hated it. I hated it. I went off on my other podcast about it just because I mean, Baker played amazing, and my biggest issue with it was I know that the defense didn't do good at the end, but they stopped Lamar 3 times earlier in the game. And I think that's all you can ask about a guy like Lamar, a guy like Patrick Mahomes. Like, you stop him 3 times, that's probably all you're going to stop him in a game. And they didn't. Then they turned around and got stopped. They didn't do anything with it, which kind of bothered me. And then the biggest thing I think nobody's talking about is that Parkey missed a 20-yard field goal and an extra point. If he hits both of those, they have a 4-point lead going into that last drive. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have to score. They can't kick a field goal at that point. Yeah. And so that's the game right there. I don't think they score. I know they got down the field pretty quickly, but they only got 50 yards. And they had 7 seconds left at that point with no timeout. So I don't think that they score there. But it sucks more because now they dropped to, 9-4? They got the Giants this week, which I don't think is an easy win. The Jets, which should be an easy win, but I feel like it's a trap game. And then they get Pittsburgh in week 17, which is not, I mean, Pittsburgh is still probably going to be playing for, I would think, to try and get into the playoffs. Or they'll be in the playoffs, but possibly to make sure they secure the 2nd seed. And if Baltimore wins out and say Cleveland loses 1 game, they're both tied on record, drops Cleveland from being the 5 seed down to the 7th seed now, or the 6th seed, depending on what anybody else does. So now they went from being 2 games up on everybody if they win to now being 1 game up on like 3 teams. And I don't like that. I'm getting a lot of 2010 vibes of the Browns missing the playoffs, finishing with a 10-6 record, which I don't think they finished 10-6, but it's possible. It sucked after the year they've been having. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I really dislike both of those teams. That's one of those when Browns and Ravens play, I'm like, can they both lose? Like, is that possible?
I feel the same way about the Ratbirds and the Pittsburgh Squealers as well, my friends. So.
Oh, you don't use the names, do you?
I do. I say that.
Oh, no.
I don't ever say. I do every once in a while, Just like I really don't like saying the M word. It's the team up north if I don't have to, which I love, by the way. I don't know if I sent you guys that text message about I think they were talking to McCord.
Yeah, you did send us something like that.
I love that they take that so fucking seriously. It's great. When I had Archie Griffin on the podcast early in the year, it was the same thing. Like, the dude never said Michigan the entire interview. And
wait. You had Archie Griffin on a podcast?
Yeah.
I
talked. Yeah.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Back summertime, we had him on the Fantasy Football Roundtable. Got him to come on for 35 minutes.
I have to go back and watch that. I watch that show like when I'm available. I try to live, but I
the
definitely
worst part about it, or the worst thing I hate about that podcast was I didn't have this microphone yet, and my audio was not great, and I hate it because I don't know if I'll ever be able to get him on again. He said he'd love to come back on again, but I wonder if that's one of those things where he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to come back on again," and that's what you say, but you don't mean it. So, But yeah, I just talked. We had him on. We talked about just like what it was like playing for. Why did his name just jump out of my head? Jesus. Oh my God. Now I just feel like a complete idiot. Woody Hayes, my God. What it was like playing for Woody, what it was like being the guy to win 2 Heisman's. Was talked about Zeke, JK, what he does now, how much he gives back and how he talks about Woody. Like, he was talking about Woody being a father figure to him and stuff like that. It was awesome. One of the best experiences of my life.
Damn.
Like, I still have the picture of, I think it's still my Facebook profile picture right now. It was my YouTube one for a while. It's like, I purposely cut because I had Dennis and Matt on with me, and then Tony jumped on as well because he wanted to talk to him. And I purposely set it up to where Archie was sitting next to me on the screen so I could take a picture of it just to be like, I actually got to talk to Archie Griffin. This is amazing. So yeah, it was awesome. And we had him on, and then literally the next week I got Raymond Davis to come on the show too, which I'm a big fan of him. So that was cool. Archie's definitely a highlight though.
We should think about if we want to have or try to get any players on or anyone on this show.
I mean, I reach out to people all the time.
I mean, in addition to all the folks.
Yeah. I reach out to players all the time. I've had a couple Twitter DMs with Khalil Herbert, not about coming on a show, just about like the year he's had. I could get Raymond, I'm sure, back on here. I mean, he's said before he'd love to come back on. So
then I have to then I have to say that I really like him though. While he's sitting there.
He likes it when people hate on him, man. I think he thrives on that. But there's one guy that I'm trying, but I don't think it's gonna work because he's not having a good year this year. So, but I'm pushing for it.
Ohio State guy?
It's pretty obvious when you think about like
not having a good year. Shaun Wade's the only guy I can think of that's not having a good year at Ohio State.
I talk about him all the time.
G. Scott? Or
Yeah.
G. Scott?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's G. Scott. I always want to call him Gee.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I reach out to players all the time. I don't really care. Worst they can say is no. So
I do want to reach out. I probably will this off season when we do like our intro pieces for nerds again, like freshmen, and I'd probably try to reach out to some of those guys. And
well, yeah, that's how I got to talking to. Well, G. Scott was because of his dad. His dad, I guess, saw the article that I wrote on him, and then tweeted at me, and then I tweeted back, and then we started exchanging Twitter DMs. And it's the same thing with Kendall Milton. I think it was his uncle though for Kendall Milton. I wrote that piece on him for the Nerds freshman profile, and same thing. Cool.
Hopefully more people write those this year, because I feel like at one point, like the previous like 15 of them were all you, me, or Eric.
Yep. Yeah. And see, that's the worst part about it. Like I was talking to Jared and them the other day, and it's well, we're still recording a lot. So you guys cool to end it, and then we can just keep talking.
Yeah, we can end it. That's fine. Yeah, so. Bye everybody.